All right, step one, we pull up to the job. All right, it's important that we check our phone, check our app, make sure we're at the right house. So we're gonna check the numbers on the mailbox as we're pulling in, or on the house, depending on what it is. We wanna make sure that we're at the right address. Our hose reels are on the right side of the truck, which means if the house is on the right side of the street, we need to be on that side of the street. Okay, we're not gonna pull up into the driveway unless we absolutely have to. We're gonna pull up on the street. Once you get used to washing, you'll know how far you can really reach. But we don't want to park in their driveway, because if we have any oil leaks or any kind of leaks from chemicals, that's going to go on their driveway, and then we'll have to either clean it or replace the driveway if we leak on their thing. But we want to avoid that. Avoid new asphalt if you can. Try not to drive on new asphalt, because if any chemical, any bleach leaks onto new asphalt, it will bleach it and leave lines. Okay, so recap, make sure you're at the right address, make sure you pull up to the house with your hose reels facing the correct direction, and try not to park in the driveway unless absolutely necessary. Okay, part two, we're gonna come greet the homeowner, let them know we're here and what we're doing. So we're gonna knock on the door, wait for Miss Jones to come out. Hey, Miss Jones, my name is Nathan with Southern Pressure Washing. We're going to be doing your house wash today. Is there any questions that I can answer for you before we get started? So you'll answer the questions. They should have had all of their things taken up. Everything checks out. They may have you go do a walk around with the homeowner. They may have you answer some questions. Hey, can you clean this for me? Hey, how long is it going to take? Just answer their questions. And then we'll move on to step three. Okay, part three. Now we're going to do the walk around on the house. We're going to make sure that there's anything that we don't see that's going to be a problem. So we're going to be taking pictures of all four corners of the house at least, and then any individual item that you may see damage on. So we're going to look at the house. We're going to see if there's any special bushes, like cherry trees, Japanese maples, especially any kind of sensitive or expensive plants. We want to make sure that those are taken care of. If there's any damage to bushes, like things like this, we want to take pictures of beforehand, so we know we have proof that, hey, we didn't kill those plants. It was already like that. So we're going to make sure, and then we'll walk around, that all of the things off of the porch are gone, all furniture, any decorations, things like that. Around on the side of the house here, a couple things I want to point out. Number one, we're going to take our hand and rub across the siding. If you see this stuff on my hand, this is called oxidation. This is why we don't use high pressure on a house. If you see that, make sure you get a picture of your hand next to the siding. That way you can show the homeowner that, hey, there's already oxidation on here. Another issue that we have, we've got a stained fence right here, and whoever stained it left overspray all over the siding. This isn't something that we did or can clean, so we want to make sure we get a picture of that beforehand, so we show, like, hey, like, we already know that that's not going to come off, and obviously we didn't do that. So that's all the issues on this side of the house. Let's go take a look in the back. There's a back porch. There's a lot of things going wrong with that back porch. We're going to start with the obvious. We have a dog here. If the homeowner's here, we need to make sure the dog is put up, because they will stay in the way, basically. So we're on the back. The back is the dirty side on this side of the house, or on this specific house. We want to get pictures of all the algae before. And if you've noticed on the ground, we got a bunch of stuff in the way. Normally, we would tell the customers to remove all these things before we even wash, and that has to be done beforehand. But sometimes that doesn't happen, and stuff isn't moved like it's supposed to. So we would want to take a look around. Anything that's cloth or painted, those things want to be removed. Everything else can really be have bleach on them, but we don't want to obviously spray bleach on it. We'll come to the porch here. We got lots of stuff to work around. right, if we look here, we got a lot of brown. That's from dirt and oxidation basically come from behind the siding. We got all these cushions and things. All that stuff would have to be removed. We have bare wood. If there's bare wood from like seats and stuff, we want to make sure that stuff is removed because that will get stained with bleach. We definitely don't want that. I don't see any damage on the house on this side, so that should be good for the house. Step number 4, we're gonna make sure we have all our PPE on. We got gloves, sunglasses, our hat, and our boots, maybe bibs if we have to, if it's gonna be a nasty job. And then lastly, we want a full bucket of clean water. All right, we're running low on water, but we want a full bucket of water that's gonna be for emergencies. If you get chem on you, you wanna have basically a wash station where you can wash your hands off, wash your face off. If you got a fire for whatever reason, not run into that, that you can, get it taken care of. You spill any bleach on anything, you can take care of that. So always have a full bucket of water, gloves, sunglasses, hat, all your uniform, and your boots. Okay, step number 5 is we're gonna hook up our garden hose to the nearest water spigot to make sure that we have water flowing into our tank at all times. So hit the latch and walk to your spigot. We're at the water spigot now. This is part 5. We want to make sure that we turn the water spigot on before we even start the job. Make sure we have water, and also we want to run it to make sure there's any kind of like dirt or spider webs unclogged that we don't want going in our tank. Run it for a few seconds. Got good water pressure, and all the dirt is out. We're going to hook up our garden hose. All right, and then we want to make sure it's hand tight. You don't want to get channel locks on there because then you got to take it off too. And then turn it all the way on, and we're good to go. For 6, I do believe, we're going to run our pressure wash line out. Same thing. Unhook your line, roll it up a little bit so you can get your ball valve out, and walk on the side that you're going to start with. Sometimes you'll get a pile up like this, and you've gone too far where you can't go any further with the actual hose. We'll just take the middle of the group and walk down some more. You're going to run your line out completely. You got all your line ran out. You're going to take the quick fit here, unhook it. Sometimes it's a little stuck. And then you're going to connect it to the end of our bypass. Make sure when you're connecting these at this clip, you can hear it click, just like that. Now you're secure to go. Now you are safe to start the pressure washer once you have the gun on the end. So let's grab the gun. Part 7, we're going to pick our gun. We're just using a house wash today, so we just need our smaller one. Make sure the J-rod is at the end of it and it looks intact. All right, now we're going to walk to our ball valve. Okay, if you haven't started your pressure washer already, the ball valve will be closed. We'll make sure it's closed if it's perpendicular with the line. Take our gun and work it into the quick connect until you hear that snap. Once it's in place, open your ball valve and you are ready to spray. So if we haven't started the engine already, let's go start. Right, on to part 9. We got to start our pressure washer. We're going to pull the choke here and then crank the motor. Let it run for a little bit. Pull the choke in. We're going to let it run for about 30 seconds to a minute before we throttle it up. We've already had it running, so I'm just going to throttle it up. Take the red handle up here and go all the way up. We have picked the side that we're going to start with. We don't have any bushes. The only thing we have are electronics and the AC unit. We've got our gun here. All right, it's called a gun. Treat it like a gun. Do not point it at anything you don't want to break or shoot. Okay? If you're going to start, don't start at a window between changing tips. So when you change your tips, same thing like before, make sure you hear that click. If you don't hear that click, don't pull the trigger, because if you don't, and it's like this, and you pull that trigger, it's gonna go shooting out and break some glass. I've had one shoot over an entire roof before. Okay, so that's part 10. All right, part 11, before we start washing the side, if we have bushes or electronics, we're gonna rinse those down with water. We're gonna use the bigger orifice J-rod tip, not the high pressure, because that has low pressure and it doesn't cause any damage. So we're gonna rinse our plants down, rinse our electronics down. Coming to a corner. If you're spraying one side, you also want to check the other corner. That way, if there's any sensitive things like bushes, we want to make sure those are rinsed off from overspray when you spray this corner. We're going to rinse these bushes down. You only need to spray the bushes. You don't necessarily need to spray the grass. Part 12, we're on our injector side. This is where we're going to start spraying chemical. All right, we have our downstream injector. All right, we're going to flip our switch. Now, chemical is going to run from here and pull Kim through the line. We also want to make sure that our ball valve is switched to the bleach side. Once it's on the bleach side, we're ready to spray. All right, we're back on our J-rod. If you see, we have 4 tips here. We have 2 straight shots and 2 fan sprays. The ones with the bigger orifices are our soap tips. That's how we're gonna apply our chemical. So I'm gonna start with the fan side. We don't need the shooter because we don't have a second story to spray. Make sure that's clicked in. And then we're gonna rinse out our line because it's full of water right now. We just changed the valve over. We have to get chemical through this line to the gun. So we're gonna spray something that isn't gonna get damaged. So I'm gonna spray this brick until we see soap. We got water, we got water, we got water. Takes about 10 seconds or so. All right, now we got soap. That means that our chemical has made it through the line into our gun. Now we're ready to spray the siding. Part 13, we're ready to spray and pre-treat our siding. Basically, we're gonna spray chemical on there to get it clean. All right, a couple of things before we go. We got normal vinyl siding. If you see these overlaps, that means we wanna spray in this direction. We do not want to spray this way because we're going to get water and chemical behind the house, which we don't want. It's going to cause other problems that we'll talk about later. So we're going to apply chemical facing this way. We're going to start from the bottom and work our way up to the gutters. However, I like to spray my gutters first and then do the siding because typically the gutters are the nastiest. So we'll back up and start spraying. All right, part 14. Now we're going to start pre-treating our siding. Starting with the gutters. We're just going to get a quick, good coat. We don't want too much on there, and we don't want too little. I'm moving at a decent pace. All the way to the end. Now we're good to start spraying our siding. Okay, now we're going to do our siding. To the corner, work your way up and down. You can either do side to side like this, or up and down. I like to do up and down when it's just a short wall. All right, once we get a good coating on there, we'll let it sit. Me having experience, I know that all this is ready to go, so I'm gonna go back to the truck, and turn the valve to rinse mode. Part 15, we need to shut our chemical off, which basically all we have to do, turn the ball valve, and now we're ready to rinse. Part 16, the house is ready to rinse. I'm just gonna get all of my chemical throughout the line. If there's little spots, you still have about 10 seconds of spray time before rinsing happens. So I'm just gonna spray the siding until I don't see soap anymore. All right, now the soap is gone. We are ready to rinse. We're gonna change our J-rod to the high pressure fan tip. All right. Okay, part 17, now we're ready to rinse. We wanna rinse top to bottom, and then with the vents, that way we don't go behind the siding. So I like to start off with the gutters, all the gutters and soffit, and then come back and do the siding itself. We just sprayed the gutter down. Now, I was using a fan tip. Now, sometimes gutters are a little tricky and you need a little bit more pressure. So this is the only time I allow high pressure to be done on vinyl siding, okay? Because really it's not on vinyl siding, it's on the gutters. So I went to my straight shooter tip. This is the most powerful tip we have. And I'm gonna spray only the gutter, not the soffit, not the siding, only the gutter to knock off any dead organics. If you zoom in, we missed a couple spots along the whole gutter. A bit of encouragement, I like to call it, to get those off. So I'm gonna start from the side. I like to go by listen. We're not gonna spray the side. I go over the house and then work our way. If you don't hear the gutter, that means you're not hitting it. Okay, now it's time to finish off the siding, and we're good to rinse all the siding down. We're going to spray in a one pattern. Basically, we want to have to rinse only one time. You want to keep rinsing until all the soap is gone. Make sure you rinse off your electronics. All right, now we repeat the process on all the other sides. I will add one more thing. When you get to windows, you want to make sure these things are rinsed really well, because it's very easy to leave streaks on it from leftover residue. So we're going to spray these windows real good, top to bottom. All right, it's a small window, it didn't take much. That should be good. and we're ready to go to the other side. We're on the front porch. We want to make sure we get all pieces of the porch, including the soffit ceiling or whatever you want to call it. When we get to the window or the front door, we want to limit the amount of pressure and the amount of water that goes to that front door. That way, if they have a bad seal, we don't ruin the bad seal. New day finishing this video up. So after you get all of the house washed and you've done your checks, you've checked yourself as you're washing, making sure that you are not having to go back and hit spots again because you missed it. You're doing that as you're going. So you're done. You've shut off the washer. You think you're done with the house wash. You're going to come up to the customer, knock on the door if they're there, tell them, hey, we are done. Would you like to do a walkthrough? If so, walk them through it, do your deal. Do you have any questions after the house wash is complete? Good. Okay. We're going to send you a bill via email, or you can pay with a check now. Either one works. After all that has been through and you think you're done, ask them one last thing. Hey, how was our service? What would you think? Do you think we deserve a 5-star review? Do we deserve a 5-star review? Yes? Great. Let me show you how to do it. And you're going to walk them through that process of how to leave a 5-star review. Once that is good to go, you're going to roll up all your hoses. Obviously, the customer is satisfied at this point. You're going to roll everything up in the backwards order that we rolled everything out. You're going to put your yard sign out, talk to the neighbors if they're there, pass out some flyers, head on to the next. All right, it's really windy, but after you got all the hoses reeled up, talk to the neighbor, customer satisfied, yard sign in the yard, everything's rolled up nice and neat, make sure everything's secure, it's not going to fall off during your drive to the next job. You are complete with the perfect house wash. All right, that completes the video. That is the steps to the perfect house wash. Appreciate you watching. If you're a customer or a employee, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, you've made it this far, leave a comment, leave a like. Appreciate all the support, guys. See ya.